Hi. Okay, so I do want to start out with one thing. I'm not sure any of you have heard, but today they just announced the nominees for the Israeli TV Academy Awards, and Fauda just received no less than 14 awards. So a great shout out to Avi and Lior. Kol hakavod. Okay, so I want to start with a quick question regarding, the phenomenal success of Fauda. So I don't know how many of you have actually not seen the fourth season, but whoever has, obviously it's a huge hit, massive hit on Netflix, specifically in areas where are kind of surprising. I mean, it's the first ranked Netflix TV show both in Lebanon and the UAE. How do you explain that? How is that global success?
Wake up, Avi, wake up. It's because of this guy. Yeah. And other than that, I don't have a kind of an exact explanation for this phenomenon. I mean, both of us cannot really explain it, but I think it's a combination of a few elements. One of them is that half of the show is in Arabic, actually. So, people in the Middle East, of course, can feel very comfortable watching this show. The second element might be that it shows the other side as pretty human, interesting, not as a kind of, the bad guys and that's it. And I think that also the script was pretty good, wasn't it?
The writers are amazing.
The writers.
So I don't know, for those of you who don't know, there's actually a super exciting acquisition recently for your studio, Faraway Road Productions, by Blackstone-backed Candle Media, which was just acquired by them. So how's it like being one of the most recent Israeli exits? I mean, we were talking a little bit before about, the exit strategy that exists in high-tech and startup world and how, I guess, there's some parallels in the content space. Can you talk about that a little bit?
So a few years ago, Israel was a startup nation. We are still a startup nation, but now I think it's an era for a content nation. Thank you. And I think there is, as you said, a parallel between the startup strategy and also content strategy, because we're starting with an idea. We need to have seed money in order to make it happen. So our seed money coming from the broadcasters. So we go to the broadcasters, they are investing in our show or idea, and then if you sell it and so you're getting much more money and it's become big. But what we had, it's Candle that actually established by Blackstone, created a roll-up of production companies, Reese Witherspoon, Will Smith, Coco Melon, what's the name of the? Exile. So we are part, and us, Faraway Road, and now we're part of this huge company. We got acquired. So we have also exit strategy in content that it's amazing. I think it's very unique, but I hope that we're starting something that other production companies will get by bigger companies as well.
And you asked, how does it feel? It feels good. It feels
Great.
good. Yeah. Yesterday I had one of the Knesset members, Dudi Amsalem, saying that all the high-tech guys are hanging around with Rolex. So I don't have a Rolex, just to prove you that, yeah.
Phenomenal. So just to kind of follow right on what you were talking about, Leo, regarding the acquisition potential that exists today in the Israeli content space. So, I mean, right now we're kind of seeing, despite that there's a rising demand in the world for original Israeli productions, but on the opposite side, we're actually seeing that there are a lot of challenges, both in the regulations, like you were talking about seed funding for the broadcasters, and there's actually, because of successes like Fauda, there's a spike in interest from private capital to get involved in original productions. I mean, how best can that money be deployed in the space? I mean, where should it go? Is it deficit finance, early stage development? If you can talk about that a little bit. If there are private investors out there that want to get involved in original productions, how should they do it?
First of all, you have to find people that you really think that they are very good in what they're doing. It's kind of a dream investment because you invest in a dream. It's like a startup, You don't know if it's going to succeed or not. And most of the people who they don't have the tools to understand if it's going to, me neither. You know, we don't know if something that we're investing in will be successful or not. So you have to understand that you're going to lose the money first. And then there is few kinds of investment. First, we call it dumb investment. You give us the money, and we'll give you 20% interest after the show go out or the movie go out. But also you can be executive producer and much more involved in the content as well as an investor, and then you can have much more upside than just 20%.
And I'll tell you a secret. I mean, I think that both of us do invest and do jump into different projects that we're very passionate about. So I think that for any kind of an investor, if he wants to get involved in a project, in a content project, whether it's a feature or a TV show, I think that the number one secret is that he needs to find a project very appealing, that he would be very passionate about. And I think that this is the key, this is the beginning, this is probably the end.
Amazing. So, I mean, I guess directly connecting to that, you're working now on some super exciting things in Faraway Road Productions, right? So can you share anything about that? Any of the new interesting things that are going to hit the market soon?
Yes?
Oh, someone in the crowd say, no, don't say.
Who is it? We cannot say it? Why not? It's a secret. I can tell you a few things. We are now in the editing. We finished to edit a new big show for Showtime. We're going to come out very soon. We have another big project with Netflix, another 2 projects with Apple. We're doing a lot. We have Fauda, hopefully Fauda 5 very soon. And yeah, our hands are full, really, really full, and we have another like 15 projects in development.
Some of them are dealing with the Middle East, some of them with espionage, some of them are not really in the areas of thrillers or espionage, and some are even kind of romantic comedies. You might be surprised to hear that, but I think that both of us really like this kind of genre, romantic comedies.
So how do you find the projects that you're interested in? I mean, how does the sourcing look like when you're out there looking for the next thing?
Most of our shows or movies or what we're doing, it's about, we want to go for the true stories. For us, it's very appealing, true stories, and also things that that we want to watch, you know? It could be comedy, as Avi said. It could be like I don't know, thriller, it could be comedy, it could be whatever. But if we want to see it, if we want to watch it, so it's something that we probably want to invest in. And also it's supposed to have a truth inside, you know, that we will know that it's happened, it can happen. And it's also supposed to be driven by dialogues, and also by characters.
One of the things that both of us really love, and this is the thing that got us together with Fauda, and it happened. Fauda started around 13 years ago in a nice, interesting evening in Miluim, in reserves. I mean, both of us served in an undercover unit called Uvdevan, and I think that over there, when we understood the secret of double identity, meaning when someone can behave from the outside as A, but from the inside is a complete B. So this is what we're trying to bring to the screen in many different stories. Not necessarily, again, undercover or espionage, even about, you know, personal life, families, etc. But the minute that you see the split in someone's identity, this is something that really is intriguing for us.
And how do you keep, I mean, you're now playing basically on the global stage. You were talking about doing projects for Apple and for Netflix. How do you retain the Israeli competitive edge by doing that?
How
do you keep the Israeli competitive edge or advantage?
We're just trying to challenge ourselves again and again. I mean, we had a few we had 2 shows with the U.S. Of course, we had Fauda here in Israel. I think one of the most fascinating things that we see is the difference in the culture. You know, in Israel, when you discuss something, it's usually people shouting at each other. In LA, we were very, very polite, and when someone wanted to say, like, hell with that, it's so boring, he would say, it's interesting. So we got it, the English behind the English, slowly, but for us, it's always really fun to do things here in Israel and to keep it as authentic as possible and to keep the Israeli essence of it inside.
I'll tell you a story that happened to us in LA. We had a huge meeting with all our representatives, with our lawyers, our agents, managers, and me and Avi started to argue about some content things. But we argue as we argue, we're shouting at each other in the middle of the restaurant in LA, in Hollywood, and our team looked at us and they were shocked. And then we went out to a bar, me and him, to have fun. We're getting calls from everyone. So what, you're gonna separate? What's gonna happen? No, we're just dancing now in a bar. Everything is okay. So there is cultural differences, but we're now trying to be American as well. So all the questions that you were asking us were very interesting.
Thank you very much, Avi and Lior. Thank you.